hours. Los Angeles, where they fight the aliens, and that one guy sacrifices himself to save the other guy. I was like, look, y'all can't look at me right now. Are you ready to get fired up?
I was waiting for a couple other people to show up, but
So let me make sure I got this right. In that moment, you said, because there's something brave you did that I wouldn't have done. You said hello, got that part, but then you asked her what was wrong. You read her, you saw her countenance, you felt her energy, and you actually asked this lady what was wrong.
Yeah.
That's true.
Well, now, the only thing that I would say is that if you feel uneasy about asking what's wrong, because they are a stranger, it could be something very personal.
Right. So are you okay?
I know it's none of my business, but
okay.
I know we don't know each other, but we're both people. Is everything okay? Is there something I can do to help?
Okay.
Usually tack on a joke. I specialize in getting shit from top shelves. And that enough, it kind of rattles it just a little bit. And so you break it. I actually talk about it in the course. You break this loop that most people are in where they're on autopilot. I'm upset today about something, and this is the day that I'm having. If you take a minute, you humanize them, you acknowledge we are people. You acknowledge the situation. We don't know each other. You're upset. Can I help?
Mm-hmm.
And then break the loop. Crack a joke. I can kill spiders. Is it spiders? Because I can kill spiders.
Mm-hmm.
And that's enough. You see just a little
Smile,
you know?
Yeah.
I don't need a big old belly laugh. I need to break the loop.
Recording in
And now we have a foundation.
I know I have a magnet for cracking people. I went in the store looking for a dog bone, and I spent 42 minutes hearing about a lady's divorce, her whole marriage. I'm that person. I don't care where I go. People unload on me. Yeah.
My wife has it too. Tell me everything.
Yeah.
Pretty good. It just started storming where I'm at though.
Like I had a conversation with somebody the other day and got their mouth, but I'm just gonna tell you now I'm bipolar and blah 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 blah. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
And I don't mind it at all. But the thing is, how do you turn that power into what over the phone?
Yeah, I heard you on the phone yesterday. You was breaking it down, getting real with people.
Well, that's my personality. I mean, people just people just talk to me, and I love it. Yeah.
If people will talk to you because of the fact that you have them in that same routine conversation. Again, you're getting ahead of me. Maybe you need to teach this because you're ahead of me. But people get into that same routine where it is, how you doing? Fine. Blah, blah, blah. Weather? Okay, take it easy. Have a good day.
Yeah.
It's that same routine. I have a whole slide about just that.
so you got to do the soft touch.
Soft touch. Bring them in slowly.
And what it is when people aren't really listening, they're just going autopilot.
Oh.
You got to just kind of jar them a little bit,
Okay.
and then they start reacting to you.
Kind of like
Well, I mean, we're here to learn from you, so let's
go
roll.
ahead.
Yeah. There's a lot of different ways to kind of phrase what I'm going to talk about today. And most of the people know instinctively, and they simply don't act on it just based off of they have a certain set point for what they're comfortable with and what they're not.
Mm-hmm.
So as you pointed out, the course is called the Superpower Below. Basically, I look to teach people how to build rapport in everyday interactions. I know we've all sat through training courses, and the first thing they do, Marcia, take your seat back. Don't you let me do that to you.
Sit over there. That's fine. So you can read your slides.
That's fine. I hate those two words put together.
And that too. I'm fine. That's fine. I'm sorry.
Are you sure? That's fine, and I'm sorry. Oh, you killed me twice. So training objectives are the beginning, and you go to training courses, and at the beginning they have their training objectives, and at the end they restate them. But now okay, I'm not down with that. My entire purpose here is I'm not going to bore you guys, and if I do, I'm sorry. You got me doing it now. If I do, I'm sorry, but point it out. We've been here too long, I'm a little bit bored. I want to provide you with at least one technique that can affect some positive change in your life and in what you do. If I do that, I feel like I've accomplished it, especially if I do it without boring the class. I'm going to say this to you. If at any point throughout this whole thing, you guys decide inside yourself, this idiot doesn't know what he's talking about. Because I've been in classes with people where I can look at them, I'm listening to them, say, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about, but I'm too polite to just get up and leave. You're not hurting my feelings. If you don't think that I know what I'm talking about, we're done here. Brian, you know that goes double for you. If at any moment you're like, Tiny's not, no, this isn't working out. Just be like, Tiny, let's put a pause on this. Let's regroup another day. Okay? I assure you, I'm doing everything that I can to make sure that does not happen. This here is just a real quick rundown of who I am. Currently, I'm the manager of business development for Accounting Management Solutions right around the corner. Brian's been up there. He's seen how we work and what we do. Before that, I was a detective for the Kernersville Police Department. I specialized in major crimes, homicide, and sexual assault, and seeing people at their worst. Communication came to be a very, very important thing in what I did. But in your daily life, to be dealing with people at their worst all the time, there comes a point where you decide, is this what I want to do because I have a devotion to that? Or do I want to take these skills and see if I can help people somewhere else? So that's why I'm doing what I'm doing right now. I am an FBI certified hostage negotiator. I was a crisis negotiator for the Kernersville Police Department. I went through basic and intermediate negotiation training, and then I went to the FBI certification course for negotiation. All of that, they call it negotiation, hostage negotiation, crisis negotiation. It's all communication. How do you speak to people in order to get them to identify with you and you identify with them? That's it. It's not you and me. How can we make this about we, basically? I'm also a member of the Forsyth County Crisis Intervention Team. I've completed the interview training recognition program. I know Brian was familiar with it, the Certified Fraud Examiner, the Association of Certified Fraud Examiners. I'm working towards my Certified Fraud Examiner certification. However, Don Raybon, who's one of the cornerstone instructors at that organization, he certified me through his interview training recognition program, again, about communication. I am a Lean Six Sigma black belt. My father's an engineer. He's a genius and he loves mathematics. I did that. That's all about, a lot of that is about numbers. And for me, I'm a words guy. I enjoy words. Words are my play, words are my fun, words are my work. So I did it. Pop wanted me to. It's there. So the genesis of the superpower hello, which is what you were asking about. Let's talk about the legend of Tom. Remember I told you that when I was in 8th grade, I was very shy, introvert. Right? Well, then we had youth conference with the church. Are you memorizing me?
He's trying to get you.
Oh, are you trying to get me at the same time? Oh, all right. I apologize. Should have let me know ahead of time, buddy, because I move around.
You keep getting my face.
Is it? And so, are you waving to the crowd?
No, I'm trying to not even look at it.
So, when I was 14 years old, went to a church youth conference. Okay, we all piled into the van. There's only 7 of us that went together. We went to somewhere, I think it was in Asheville or something. None of us knew anybody up there. All these youth groups from different churches from all over the state came to Asheville for this youth conference. Nobody knew each other. We're there for 3 days, and by day 2, everybody knew and loved my friend Tom. And I'm like, wait a minute. None of us knew each other. Now everywhere we go, oh, there's Tom. Hey, Tom, what's going on, Tom? I want to hang out with Tom. Let's go do this with Tom. And my brain immediately said, wait a minute, how did Tom do that? And I wanted to know what's different about Tom from everybody else here. Because there's 1,200 people here. Nobody's gravitating towards any of the other folks. Everybody's magnetized towards Tom. So I watched him for the rest of the day. I just watched, studied him like a silverback gorilla. Just, what's he doing? What's he doing? The only thing he's doing different is he said hello to everybody. You pointed out that people just don't do that anymore. Just saying hello to a stranger. Hi, how you doing? Hello. He said it with this real sing-song kind of a hello kind of. He always did. He would say hello, and he would extend his hand like this. Hello, I'm Tom. That's how he would do it every single time. I picked up. I used to say, hey, how are you? Hey. Doesn't matter. That's the only thing he was doing differently was he was saying hello. I said, okay, and I'm gonna have to try that. So here's Tom out there going, hello. And here comes little Dave. I was 5'1" at the time. I didn't get taller until after high school. So the little guy went around, hi, hey, how you doing? Hi. It didn't take 12 hours for all of a sudden, all kinds of people are now gravitating towards me. There's Dave. That's why I put trial by trying. But you don't have to believe somebody when they say something works. Give it a shot and see if it works. that truly was the only thing at that time that made such a major change. Now, at that time, in me, it made such a major change because I never spoke to anybody. I kept to myself, I didn't say anything. So that major shift in my behavior created a major shift in my results. And that works with any segment of your life, whether it has to do with fitness, with finance, with family. Anything you want to do, if you want to see a major change in your results, you have to make a major shift in what you're doing. For me, that was a big like eye opener because I figured out, wait a minute, if I made this 180 change in this and I got this 180 change in my results, that would work for anything else. So that's what I observed in Tom, and I realized, okay, hold on a second. You can actually change the response that people have to you based on something very, very simple. You don't have to be born a certain type of a person in order to get people to have conversation with you, in order to get people to enjoy being around you. So I want to talk about first impression bias, okay? We've all seen it in movies, particularly like high school movies, movies about teenagers. What do they say? You're pretty, you're smart, you're funny, right? They count on their fingers. You're pretty, you're smart, you're funny. You're pretty, you're smart, you're funny. First impression bias is based off of the fact that the first 5 seconds that you experience a person, you decide fundamentally whether or not you enjoy being around them. And then after that, your observations of them are then colored by that first impression. That's why they say that the way a person looks does change the way people respond to them, because it's a part of that first few seconds. My experience has been that the way a person looks, I've done this class a lot of times, the way a person looks, no matter what they're wearing, I should be in a suit and tie right now, but I'm not. That's not how I want to present myself when I first walk into a room, because I come in a suit and tie and all of a sudden I'm a certain type of person. My voice changed just thinking about being in a tie. I'm not him. I don't want to be him, and I don't want you guys to have the experience of being around him. So the way a person looks can be overridden by the way a person acts. But remember that that first 5 seconds are so very, very crucial, because after that, if you were this, then you're also this and this in their mind until you prove them otherwise. That's why the cheerleader girl, you know, she's pretty, she's smart, she's funny. You've never spoken to her. How do you know she's smart and funny? She can be dumb and boring. Yeah, but she's pretty. What does that have to do with anything? So first impression bias is a real thing. They've done this in psychological test after psychological test. The first one that I read was when I was in psychology class in the year 2000. And then I've read it again and again ever since. So it's a true thing. It's a real thing. So remember that when you interacted with a new person. When I interacted with Queen, she was upset. I knew I had 5 seconds to make sure that she felt like I was somebody that she could trust. And if she chose not to talk to me, that's fine. She doesn't have to talk to me, but at least she recognizes there's somebody there that cares. You only got 5 seconds to make that initial first impression. You smiled and winked. I'm going to remember that for the rest of my life. I promise you that. And that was it. That's all it took. Less than a second. You know what I mean? The first time I met you, you cracked a joke over at Jessica. And I was like, I like her. You see what I mean, Sonny? And I'm not wrong. Not always. Great. Now I'm going to have to do something to make sure she understands that she can trust me and be herself around me too. So that first impression bias is a real thing, and keep that in mind. Now, the OODA loop: observe, orient, decide, and act. The OODA loop, again, is a real thing. This is the function that people are on when they are on autopilot. The place where I envision that to give people kind of a picture of what that looks like is what we talked about a few minutes ago. You go into the grocery store, you're waiting in line for the cashier, and the cashier, same thing to everybody, and everybody, same thing to the cashier. How you doing today? I'm fine. Marcia, it's not you, it's me, but I hate the word fine. Unless you're talking about hair, fine is never okay. Every man, woman, and other in the world knows that what's wrong? Nothing, I'm fine. Fine is never a good thing. It doesn't, say, look, Marcia's had it recently. It doesn't bring up a well of positive emotions. It's fine, fine, fine. So, but that's what happens. You're the cashier, you're waiting, you watch. How you doing? Fine, blah, blah, blah weather. Oh, yeah, blah, blah, blah weather. Okay, hey, take it easy, have a good day. Next one, next one, next, then you, how you doing? Well, now it's your turn. You've got to be the one to break the OODA loop. What are you going to say to that person? So, because just before I came over here, I got in the car in the parking lot. I'm carrying my little stupid bag. I put it in my little stupid Hyundai. I love that Hyundai. My dad let me borrow it because it was 30 miles to the gallon. But when I get into it, I look very stupid. So it's not the Hyundai, it's me. Hyundai's a good car. I'm stupid. So I throw my bag in there, but there's a lady across the parking lot at another business. Good morning. How you doing? I'm fine. Me too. Have a good one. Okay, bye. That's what should have happened based on the OODA loop and how everyone else treats each other. I said, good morning. And she said, how you doing? She's stuck in the OODA loop. And I said, I've got the song Call Me Maybe stuck in my head. Can you help me with that? And she busted out laughing. And I said, what do you guys do over there? And she says, we sell solar systems. I say, do you do residential? She said, yeah. I said, what's your name? I need one. Because I do. Now I found that building's been across the parking lot this whole time, but it says AIS on the side. It doesn't say solar for Dave. So I never would have known that if I hadn't taken a second and had a conversation. And she picked it up and ran with it. So I knew that she was somebody I could interact with. Now Pam is going to get some business from me, most likely, when I go over there and see her. You see what I mean? If I'm stuck in the OODA loop, that doesn't happen.
What's your favorite color?
Blue. True. Yeah. And that'll work too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Every cashier.
What's your favorite color? All my courses kind of bleed together. And so what I'm about to say comes from 2 classes from now. But people say, how was your weekend? Fine, right? Hate getting fine, so I don't need to set people up for it. If I provide them an opportunity here, say fine to me, they're going to do it because that's the easiest thing to do. So don't ask them a question they can answer with fine. What was the best thing that happened to you over the weekend? That works because now we have material that we can run with. How was your weekend? Fine. You would have said it, wouldn't you? No superlatives, nothing to gossip about, nothing to play around about. But now we know you got to sleep, so you've been busy. What you been up to? Working? So were you working doubles? Oh, okay. Talk to me about that. Why not?
People for 12 hours.
Dealing with people for 12 hours, people kind of give you a hard time. No, you can take this seat. I've already kicked Marcia out of it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No. Come back.
So dealing with people all the time is kind of part that's frustrating. Now, I waited tables very briefly because I didn't have what it took. I didn't. I waited tables for 3 days. The manager pulled me aside. He said, how do you feel about washing dishes? His name was Keith. I still remember this is a 100% true story. So that means you have some quality that I don't have to survive waiting tables. How do you deal with people when they get a little rude?
Kill them with kindness.
Kill them with kindness. I like that. I like that very, very much. What does it look like when you kill somebody with kindness?
Even though they're rude, I still smile at them. I'm so proud.
She still smiles at them. This is the most I've gotten out of Sonny in the past 3 weeks.
That's I got out Sunny in the last 5 months.
And all it takes is the fact that I didn't give her the opportunity to stay in the OODA loop. Okay?
Ask her how I met her.
Sonny, how'd you meet Brian?
We might want some pictures.
Oh, did he try to drag it out of you too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did it work?
Yeah.
You're
Did you-
sitting here.
Did you kill him with kindness though?
Yeah.
See? I like it. At least you say who you are the entire time. That's important too. All right, so now what exactly is rapport? Because we're trying to talk about how you build rapport with somebody. Rapport.
Recording in progress.
I missed whatever was happening there, but it was a cool voice. So, okay.
I was still in the meeting.
Oh, you were still in the meeting? Oh, so you were watching it all the way
Yeah.
here? You're good, you. I like that. That's motivation. So rapport is a close and harmonious relationship in which the people or groups concerned understand each other's feelings or ideas, communicate well. I assure you that's the last time I'm going to read a whole slide to you. The main thing there is rapport is about communication and understanding. Can we agree on that? But remember that I said to establish it, you only have a few seconds. Only have a few seconds, because if you walk in and you hesitate and you fumble a little bit, now we're all nervous. Okay. The goal of building rapport, imagine you've got two pairs in a room and everyone in the room is sitting on this side over here in the unfamiliar chairs. Okay. The goal of building rapport is to bring them from the unfamiliar chair over here to the familiar chairs. You said you don't have any problem talking to strangers. I don't have any problem walking into a room where everybody's on the unfamiliar chair, because I'm going to do a little song and dance and get them over here to the familiar chair, where not only they're familiar with me, but I want them to be familiar with one another. I mean, I don't know about you guys. I learned some stuff about something. Are you wearing your sword and sandal shoes today?
I am.
You are.
No, he's right outside. The
But-
bottom was wrong.
Is it, what's that? Oh, did it really?
Yeah, that everybody didn't know how to draw.
Oh, that happens. Yeah. Yeah. Water from the sky. We're all scared. That happens. That does. So charisma. Does everybody know what charisma looks like?
Right there,
Bam. Right?
right there.
Yeah. He's one of my two idols, the other one being Bob Ross. I know that sounds like it doesn't work, but it does. Trust me. So charisma is, there's a definition up there. Feel free to read it, but compelling and charming. Can we agree The Rock is compelling and charming?
Yes.
Okay. So the role of charisma in building rapport is you can get somebody from the unfamiliar chair to the familiar chair. Cops do it all the time. We talked about it. You know what I pulled you over? Because I'm a jerk. I'm gonna ruin your morning. But there's a way to do it, making them feel good about it. People have thanked me for taking them to jail before. If you're nice about it, they know they did something wrong. That's why they're in the jail. You don't just wake up one morning and be like, that guy. So they know they did something wrong. It's your job to make them feel good about whatever the outcome of this interaction is going to be, whether you're a police officer, a cashier, or whether you work here. You're going to have interaction with people, and your job as a charismatic individual is to make them feel good about that conversation, about that interaction. And charisma does that. Charisma is what makes people feel good about going from that unfamiliar to the familiar side. So here it is. This is what I came up with. I started teaching this when I was in the Navy long ago. And so when I put it down into just 3 steps, I still remember the first guy that asked me, you've got to tell me exactly what to do. His name was Chris Coronado, and now he works in Hollywood. That's not a joke. I'm dead serious. He's a cameraman. Let's go. His name's Chris Coronado, and he said, Dave, you've got to tell me how it is, because you go down to engineering and all of a sudden what we need gets done. How do you do that? One smile, one joke, one question. That's it. You said, I asked you, kill him with kindness. What does that look like? You said what? I smile and I'm polite. The smile, right? Hey, how are you? I did it all wrong, didn't I?
Hi,
Tell me the best thing that happened to you this morning.
I woke up.
See? She woke up, she got to sleep. These are the best things that happened to her. No OODA loop happening here. You see that? I like it. I like it. That's fantastic. So the superpower 3-step, the superpower of hello. One smile, one joke, one question. A smile, you have to genuinely smile because you are genuinely happy to see somebody. I want everybody to take 2 fingers and put it on the side of the neck. Please do it. Everybody feel it? That is a reason to smile enough for all of us, I'm a morning person and a Monday person. If you want to fight me, we'll go out in the parking lot later and you just kick me while I'm down, because my wife hates it too. But I'm a morning person and a Monday person, because as long as we're alive, it's a fantastic day to me. And I guess I'm fighting him out in the parking lot there. Brian's like, is it though? Is it though? One joke. Remember we talked about you got to break the OODA loop. Were you watching on your phone on the way into? All right, we're gonna jump back real quick. So the OODA loop, because we build on this for like 3 courses.
Okay.
Observe, orient, decide, and act. The OODA loop is when somebody's on autopilot. You don't have to write nothing down. Don't you worry. I got you.
Okay.
That's what people are on when they're on autopilot. The example that I gave was a cashier at the grocery store. How you doing? I'm fine. How's the weather? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, bye. They do that 400 times a day for 400 knuckleheads who don't know any better than to be nice to them. How you doing? Okay, I'm fine. Okay, okay, bye-bye. All right, bye. How you doing? Fine. How you doing? Fine. How you doing? Fine. I even did it to you when you came in. How you doing? I'm good. Sonny did too. How you doing? I'm good. No conversation happens there. So the joke is meant to break the OODA loop. So when you hear me say the OODA loop, I've ruined Christmas. Well, try that again. Jessica, hit the back. It's not a touch screen. Just the back. Yeah, the arrow to the left.
It's not doing anything.
Uh,
Oh, wait, I got you.
You sure we have a problem?
Mm-mm. This is all my fault. Uh-oh, what is happening here? Need to find a new app? No, I don't. Let's just start over, shall we? Make this stop.
Just click on that.
Huh?
Maybe click on that right there,
Why would I do
and
that?
then hit OK. And then you just go forward.
Let's hope. Shall we? Okay.
Christmas just got saved.
Are we back up?
Yeah.
Yay! Thank you, Sandy. Santa Claus, Brian Moore, right here. Okay. So after the joke, we've broken the OODA loop. Now you have the person's attention, like the call me maybe thing this morning. Or like whatever joke you say to somebody at the cash register, whatever it is that you say other than how you doing or how's the weather. Now you have their attention. You're like, what, wait, what? Now the question. The point of the question is to be interested, not interesting. If you're interesting, that's great. You feel good about you. If you're interested, it helps make them feel good about them. And that's the goal in every single interaction that you have with people. 100 and something years ago, there's a book called The Science of Getting Rich. I know he's read it. Have any of you guys read it? The Science of Getting Rich. You guys have heard of The Secret? Okay, the lady who wrote The Secret, she read The Science of Getting Rich and then wrote The Secret. She just stole the stuff from The Science of Getting Rich and wrote The Secret. The Science of Getting Rich has been around for over 100 years, and so whatever copyright is, huh?
You wrote that?
What, The Science of Getting Rich? Wallace Wattles is his name. Yeah, The Science of Getting Rich. It's written in kind of an old English kind of format, but the main thing is, he says, leave every person with whom you interact with a feeling of increase. Feeling of increase. It doesn't have to be financial. When you interact with somebody and they make you feel better about who you are, when Penny smiles at you from her eyes and gives you a wink and you say, oh, that is a feeling of increase. Leave every person that you interact with a feeling of increase. That's not anywhere else slide. It just popped in my head because it matters. So, or you could just find a 100-year-old book and steal the stuff inside, write your own book and become a billionaire like, oh, what's her name? So there's that. Science of Getting Rich. That's the source material. All right. Will it work? Come on. Jessica, would you just click it? Thank you.
You're welcome.
I promised somebody I would say this, which is, it's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice. Guys,
Look at it. Look at it. Man. Look at that smile.
I got the greatest fans in the world. They have literally been waiting out here somewhere, I don't know, 9,
Look at that smile.
12 hours or something like that. And here they are right here.
Do you get the impression at all that he's faking that smile? He is not. Look at that. Now, granted, he has kind of an in that the rest of us don't have. He is, after all.
I promised somebody I would say this, which is, it's nice.
Thank you, Jessica. Can I borrow her for like every class?
She gets there on time.
Yeah.
So he does have an in because he is the Rock. There's that. He is a monumentally large person, which when you take up a lot of space, you do have an advantage in causing someone's OODA loop to be broken. If you're little, you're quiet, you walk into a room, you sit down, it doesn't, you have to do something. The Rock walks into a room, it's like, but that smile is not being fake. When he said, I have the best fans in the world, did anybody think he was lying?
No.
No, because bam, he had that smile. I talked to you about that because the first time I met you, you were about to take a test And your mind was saying, I wish this idiot would get out of here so I can take this test. But your face was saying, I'm supposed to smile because I'm meeting somebody. How you doing? Everybody knows what a fake smile looks like, right? The very next day I saw you and you had passed your test and you were, smiling from the eyes as bright as could be. A real smile causes the eyes to close a little bit, causes the sides here to crinkle up. It's why what the Kardashian girl doesn't, Kim Kardashian, she doesn't smile in her photos because she says it causes wrinkles and she's 100% right. It does. It causes crow's feet and it causes wrinkles in your face because it's face when you smile for real. Remember that when somebody's giving you a smile, hey, I'm having a good time. So remember when you give somebody that smile, that one smile, that's where you say your hello or your hey or your whatever greeting you're going to give. But that's the moment where they decide whether or not they're going to trust you or like you, is your smile and your wink in your face. Don't ever lose that. Okay, I'm going to play a little bit of this because it's essentially a treatise. Both the interviewer and Hugh Jackman, and he is a tasty dish. Can we agree on that? Mm-hmm. Both the interviewer and Hugh Jackman are phenomenal at being charismatic and kind to one another. Just watch how they talk to each other.
Yeah, this is also my dad's favorite actor. This is the only actor we ever.
Really?
Have I never told you? My dad loved you, but he never got your name right.
What was it?
Stu Jackson. For like,
see how he laughed at that old belly laugh, which validated her joke. The OODA loop is broken on both sides. You know, actors go into interviews and they get bored with the same questions. Oh, yeah, was the costume uncomfortable? You ever seen the video of Scarlett Johansson having a meltdown at an interviewer because they asked, can you wear underwear under the Black Widow costume? And it wasn't that he asked it, it was that he's the 11th person to ask it. You saw that one, didn't you? She jumped up and let him have it. Old Hawkeye had to like hold her back because she'd had enough of the same garbage over and over again. That interviewer just broke Hugh Jackson's OODA loop, and you know how charismatic he is. But he took the joke and ran with it. So when you make a joke, it's just like earlier, you took a joke and ran with it. You took a joke Brian made and you ran with it.
We were joking. We were just telling.
Oh, yeah. No joke, yeah.
Okay. Does the joke have to be a lie? No, it does not. She took your joke and ran. She could have very easily been like, excuse me, Dave, we did install that yesterday. And I don't appreciate you calling
Right? That's what we created.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so hit play again, Jessica.
Nice.
for 14 years, he would always be like, what's that guy in Kate and Leopold doing? And I'm like, you love that guy. His name is Hugh Jackman. Like, please learn
No,
it.
go with Stu. Stu Jackson.
Well, I told you this years ago, and you actually said, in your father's defense, Hugh Jackman is a dumb name.
I struggled. This is a weird thing.
I loved this
So
name.
go ahead and pause
I
it.
couldn't pronounce the name Hugh.
We are at a point in an interview where she should be 3 questions in if we're in the OODA loop. How are you? I'm fine. How did you like making the movie? It was good. What are your thoughts on the movie? It's a good movie. That's how most interviews you see go. The same thing over and over again. She hasn't begun anything like an interview yet because she immediately broke his OODA loop. He knows how to be charismatic, ran with her joke, and now we are 2.5 minutes in. We're still talking about Stu Jackson. That in a nutshell, that right there is how you create an experience with another person. Just like the call me maybe thing from earlier, just like you running with his joke, and we had an experience about the dry erase board that I'm never going to forget. You create an experience for somebody to have with you so that you are memorable, they like you, and they want to continue to interact with you in the future.
Hugh till I was 6.
Okay. So the forgettable 3-step is what we've talked about 100 times. You made me talk about it 15 minutes before I even started the class. But that's it. How you doing? I'm fine. Blah, blah, blah weather. Autopilot is going. OODA loop is running. Thanks. Have a good one. That's it. Just like everyone else has said. I know for sure you don't want to be like everybody else, do you?
No.
I know you don't want to be like everybody else. Betty's had me hooked since this morning anyways. So when you're dealing with, let's say, the cashier at the grocery store, you do the same thing. You go through, you've got your smile, genuinely smile, and remember they're all wearing name tags. I think I've got another slide about it. But names are so very, very, very important. Right? Took me a second, Brittany, but I remembered your name. Sonny, Jessica, Al this, and Angela. Marsha taught me that one. Penny, I'll never forget again. Now, and I don't, remind me,
Angela,
have we met before?
briefly when you come through.
Okay.
Last week.
So you need to do something to make sure that I remember you next time.
Okay.
Can she borrow your stapler? to
She'll pass it
fill
along.
it?
Yeah.
Just- You know what? A couple months from now, I'm just gonna get a paintball gun. Y'all can pass it around and just take it. Because I've been promising too many assaults on me already. You have to do it all at once. Angela.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Well,
And so if you're gonna be wrong about somebody's name, I'll just cover this right now. People say, well, I'm bad with names. If you say that you're bad with names, that means that you're bad with thinking other people are important. Boom, that's it. So I'm not bad with names. I am not going to remember everything. And I know that about me and who I am. But if I forget a name, I can simply point blank say, I know we've met before. Can you tell me your name? And even bigger, I did this to her this morning in front of everybody. We haven't met before, have we? I did meet her. She cracked a joke at Jessica when I was in the room. We just talked about this. But now nobody's awkward about it because I called myself out. And I'm comfortable with that. Okay? So I called myself out. You corrected me very sweetly, by the way. Thank you. She didn't call me a jackass. So do what you can to remember a person's name. How do you do that? Marsha, I called you Marsha 3 times in a 2-second conversation in this room over here so that I would remember your name. So what do you think, Marsha? Are you gonna do well with your test today, Marsha? It's not because she forgot her name. It's because I don't want to forget her name. I use it a couple of times so that it's locked in here. And if I get it wrong, I get it wrong big. Mary, what do you think? It's Marsha. Right.
That was a question, not a.
I was testing you. So when it comes to names, remember that. The smile, sincere and genuine smile, you know that. Okay, we've been over that stuff. We've already demonstrated a smile because nobody can top the Rock when it comes to a smile. Maybe Tom Cruise, but if I put them back to back, I would have fainted for sure. Use their name. We talked about that. There's a good interview. I thought about putting a video in here about it. Tom Cruise is doing an interview with Matt Lauer, and Matt Lauer's coming at him a bit. And Matt Lauer's really pushing it. I think they were talking about Scientology or something else. I don't know. And Matt Lauer's pushing it. And so Tom doesn't get escalated, but he does keep turning to him and says, you know, Matt, I appreciate your perspective, man, but let's talk about that. Matt, I feel like that, and it kept disarming Matt Lauer. Because when you want to argue with somebody, you have to dehumanize them to yell at. You can't imagine for a second yelling at your child if you had to type it out into an email and input it into them, right? No, but just you can yell at them. Well, in that moment, you dehumanize them. So to be mad at somebody and to treat them that way, you have to dehumanize them. When you use their name, they feel humanized. They feel validated. They feel like, okay, we are 2 individuals having a disagreement. We are not 2 entities clashing with one another. So using somebody's name to a person, that their own name is the most noticeable and sweet sound ever. Except when your mom uses all 3. We all know that. David John D'Amato's what, Ma? What is it? We all know that. But outside of that, your name, Angela, yeah, yes, perk up, right? So remember that's a very simple way to break the rule. They're all wearing name tags at the grocery store. It don't take much. Hey, Zoe, how you doing? I got her. Her name's Zoe. She's working at the cash register, and she's looking at how you doing. Hey, Zoe, how are you? Huh? Me? Yeah, Zoe. You. What's going on today? What, did I scare you? And I had. She was like, most people don't use my name. Okay. Well, Zoe, I noticed you wearing a boot. Is your foot okay? No, it's not okay. She has to have surgery for plantar fasciitis. Well, if there's anything I can do, let me know. She's actually asked me to push a line of shopping carts for her one time because her foot was hurting. There's 40 other men in the parking lot. Number one, none of them offered. But number 2, she didn't feel comfortable to ask any of them because they hadn't taken 2 seconds to humanize and validate her as a person. Right? If somebody in the parking lot asks you, listen, my foot hurts, I'm in a boot, can you help me with this? You do it, right or wrong. It doesn't matter. People are willing to be kind to each other. They're just used to not having to. You know what I mean?
That's exactly right.
So
Say that last part again.
people want to be kind to each other. They're just used to not having to.
I like that. That's true.
So Now back to the joke. That's where we break the OODA loop. Everybody's gotten something funny in their head in church.
Yeah.
It don't matter how hard you try, it's coming. So that's why we tell the joke. It doesn't matter if it's the pastor. It doesn't matter if it's the girl at the cash register. It doesn't matter. When I was a police officer, I would have to ride on the elevator to the courthouse with everybody else. I didn't get to go around to the magic elevator that the courthouse staff got to use. I'm on the elevator with the guy in handcuffs and the guy, like everybody. You gotta know who you are. If you're gonna get on that elevator and ride for 6 floors with somebody who don't like you based on what you wear. Okay. The OODA loop is the one thing that you have to disrupt, because somebody gets on an elevator, everybody gets on the elevator, the doors close, they look up at the numbers, they cover their crotch, I don't know why, and then just wait in dead silence. You can hear another person's pulse in an elevator. Whatever it takes to disrupt the OODA loop with a smile on your face, do it on an elevator, give it a try, give it a test. I'd get on an elevator with somebody who's just mad, and I crack a joke, and all of a sudden now I've got a new friend. Man, I'm telling you, I've heard that so many times, that exact phrase. I get on, man, rough day today. Man, I'm telling you. And now they tell me everything that they're upset about with their day. And they do it quick because we only got 6 floors to do it in. By the end of it, I've got a new friend, and the next time something happens, I'm out and I bump into them, they have somebody they can talk to, somebody they feel like they can confide in. It's happened 100 times. You never know what happens when you just interact with someone. You never know what you can have. I'm going to get solar on my roof just because I said hi to Pam.
And a discount.
And possibly a discount. It's not why we do it, but it's a cute little ancillary benefit of it. That's true. All right. I hear it all the time. But Tiny, I'm not funny. Okay. Let's talk about that. You're not trying to go out on television and make money telling jokes. You're just trying to make people smile. You can steal all the jokes you want. You got my permission. It's okay. So I've taken from Pandora's PG Comedy Radio, Netflix stand-up comedians, Comedy Central. The names that I've got there. All right, let me preamble this like this, okay? You've heard people say I cuss like a sailor, right? I was a sailor. So when people say I cuss like a sailor, what they're saying is they wish they could cuss with the skill of this guy right here. It takes everything in me not to do it in church and around my mom and in this room right now. But I do my very, very best. I said the S word earlier. I apologize. I know I did it. I felt it. I glossed right past it. That's what you do when you make a mistake. You mess up somebody's name, you do it big. You say any curse words in church, you just keep going like it didn't happen, Brian.
Oh, okay.
You let grandma correct you if she noticed. But those comedians there that I've listed up, especially Brian Regan, Nate Bargatze, they do not say not a single blue, off-color, lewd, raunchy, salacious word ever. Okay? Did you know that there's more synonyms for dirty than any other concept in the English language? Rude, lascivious, lewd, salacious, wanton, raucous, brackish, dissolute, debauched. I could keep going. What does that say about us as a society? We like labeling other people as being something negative, right? You don't need all that fun. Nasty. It's nasty. I like that. And I forgot about nasty. That's another one. But so if you're gonna crack jokes in a scenario you don't know who you deal, I don't know who to talk to on the elevator. You know, this guy's upset, but his mom's right there. I don't know what her set point is for. Stick to keep it very PG when you crack a joke. And it doesn't take a lot. You don't have to do a premise, middle, punchline. You just need something along the lines of, how you doing? I got call me maybe stuck in my head. That kind of thing, you know? Keep that conversation moving. You just need to disrupt the OODA loop. It just takes one little thing that's a little bit different. What makes something funny is that it's unexpected. You don't need a 14-paragraph story for that. You just need one sentence that disrupts the OODA loop. Okay? All right, one thing though, let's talk about this. When it comes to self-effacing jokes and insults, everybody see the group of men? The group of men tries to one-up each other with how bad they can make the other guy feel about who he is. Okay, boys will be boys. Guys get together. We're a bunch of dumb animals. I've said this 100 times with people. There's a lady that I worked with before, and her husband, she'd come to work upset with her husband. She'd be like, "Oh, he just doesn't. He knows I like this, and he won't do it. He just won't take care of this. I just want him to take care of this, and he won't leave the house and go take care of this." And I had to tell her, Men are big, stupid animals and puppies. So he's not going to get it unless you tell him directly to do it and then pat him on the head afterwards. And he'll do it every time after that, forever and ever and ever, because we're just puppies. Right or wrong? Yeah. So Penny gets it. Is this going to be helping later on?
Yes.
Just, and if you want it to be even more powerful, don't tell him to do it. All right, remind him of the time when he did it. Remember that time you took out the trash? And then leave it be. Yeah, we take it out other people's trash. You're joking. I love it when Melissa just tickles me. You're such a good boy. I'm a good boy. I'm gonna go mow the lawn, baby. I'm gonna mow the lawn. Men are puppies, big dumb puppies. Treat us that way. Give us a task to do and pat us on the head afterwards, and you're gonna have a phenomenal relationship. I promise. Self-effacing jokes are jokes when you make fun of yourself. Perfectly fine, totally okay under certain circumstances. So the only thing I would say is you don't make fun of yourself for something you're insecure about. That is not a self-effacing joke. That is begging for approval. If you say, oh, you know, because I'm this or that, then you're hoping that they correct you. If you're going to make a self-effacing joke, make it something you yourself are confident about that everybody knows is a joke. You know, if somebody makes fun of me for being short, we all know it's a joke. Everybody can laugh. If somebody makes fun of me for having big, stupid, bushy eyebrows, now we're touching on some sensitive stuff here. Okay? So,
You got this? You got this?
like you've been zinging people for their eyebrows?
Oh, no, she takes care of people's eyebrows.
Oh, do you? I had my boy take care of these before today.
They're not bushy. That's
Yeah, no, I had.
See, there we go.
Matt Long, Hawthorne Barbershop. Took him a weed whacker 2 hours, but here we are, man. So just remember that if you make a self-effacing joke about something that you're insecure about, you're begging for approval. It's not about you. It's about them. Remember that. It's about them. The whole goal of everything we are ever going to talk about is ensuring that people have a positive experience of interacting with you. They want to feel good about who they are when you're around. That's when they will seek out interactions with you. It's not about you making sure they think you're cool and you're smart and you're funny. The funny only serves to disrupt the OODA loop so they recognize there's another human being there. And then you make them feel good about them. If people feel good about who they are when you're around, they're going to want to be around you, even if they got to buy something from you to do it. Period. Same thing with that's what we're just talking about. One question. The question must be about them. There's an AT&T study, and I know Brian's read How to Win Friends and Influence People. There's no way he's gotten where he is without reading it. In that book, Dale Carnegie talks about the fact that AT&T did a study. This was back before cell phones. Sonny, you can just zone out now. You don't know about what we're talking about. This is back in the days of landlines. And AT&T, Ma Bell, she was it. AT&T, apparently it was legal just to listen in on people's phone conversations. The number one word most used in the English language, what do you think it is?
okay.
Nice try. Honorable mention for hey? No. Jessica?
I don't know.
No.
I don't know. The number one word used by most people.
Mhm.
No.
Okay. Not good. No. You. Okay. So I'm going to use this as an example. She said, I don't know. 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 I have no clue. I asked 4 people. I got 5 eyes.
That's right.
I is the number one word used in the English language because people care about I. Okay. You call somebody on the phone and they're concerned about why are you taking time from I? But I am doing something. I am busy. I need to know why I should trust you. You see that? So remember that when you're asking somebody a question, I all love talking about ourselves. Ask a question about somebody else and just get them to go. Full start that lawnmower and let it run. The dinner with Jenny Jerome, there were 2 political candidates in a particular town, and Jenny Jerome was the lady who ran the town. You know, the lady who ran the town, she wears a big hat, the lady who runs the town. You know what I'm talking small town, lady runs the town, Jenny Jerome ran the town. So each political candidate went and sat down and had dinner with Jenny Jerome. After having dinner with each of them, she was asked, well, what do you think of him? And she said, well, when I had dinner with him, I thought he was the cleverest man I'd ever met. But when I had dinner with him, I thought I was the cleverest woman he'd ever met. You see how much more powerful that is? Guess who she voted for? Remember that. You can make somebody think you're the coolest thing ever, and all they're going to feel is a little bit inferior to you. But if you make somebody feel like they are the coolest person you ever met, they're going to want to be around you as much as possible, because people love that feeling of being admired, being loved, being appreciated, being accepted. Make them feel good about who they are. And that's just a couple of examples about how it's about them. Now, will this work on the phone? I get asked that a lot. Well, people can't see my smile on the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, we can just skip this then, because hell, they sure can. These are silent photographs, but I know we can all hear them. You hear what she sounds like? You hear what she sounds like?
Yes.
People on the other end of the phone could hear your smile too. They hear your smile. They will darn sure hear your joke. It will break their OODA loop, and they can hear you asking a question about them. And the next thing you know, you're hearing about his lithium treatment because he's bipolar. Right or wrong?
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Phrases to avoid. People do this often. Telephone interactions, people do this often. They say, sorry to bother you. I'm sorry to bother you. I know you're busy, but that is improper, because that sets the tone. Number one, it sets the tone that you are not worthy of this interaction. You, the person speaking. I'm sorry to bother you. Oh God, I'm such a pile of crap. I apologize for who I am and what I've done as a person. You don't want to set that tone. And I know you're busy, but I'm going to steal some of your time because I'm a time vampire. That's not the tone you want to set. You don't want people to feel like immediately, yeah, you are bothering me and I am busy. What? You don't want to set that tone. But you're not there to take time from them. You're not there to bother them. We know they're busy. So are you. You're looking for people to help, and you're taking your time to try to help them. If the way that I picture it, when you're making cold calls, there's a house that's on fire, and a firefighter's going from apartment to apartment, kicking in the door, every door. Bam! Anybody here I can help? Okay, no. Bam! Anybody here I can help? Does anybody get upset? Dude, you're bothering me. I'm in the middle of something. I'm eating. Don't you see? Nobody gets upset for that firefighter going from door to door looking for people to help. You are on the phone looking for people to help. You okay?
Mhm.
Am I boring you?
No.
No. Are you serious? You're freezing?
No,
So
I'm
so
cool.
scoot a little bit to the right, because that projector will blast heat on you.
I'm good.
Is it-
Thank you.
If you need to get up and do something, seriously,
No, I'm good.
we're gonna move off of that, because your face tells me she's got murderized.
Oh, no,
Move it
no.
along.
She's got some stuff going on this one's kind of, she's a trooper.
Anything we can do to help?
No, you can keep going. You're good.
I specialize in getting stuff from top shelves, you know. But keep in mind that you yourself, you are worthy of whatever scenario you're going into, whether it's a phone call with somebody, whether it's going into a place to talk to them. When you go into a McDonald's, do you ever say to yourself, I'm gonna have to go into this McDonald's and ask for a cheeseburger? No, because you know you're worthy of that scenario. I'm gonna go in and we'll talk to this person. I'm gonna get a cheeseburger at the end of it. This is a win-win for everybody. Why is it that you pick up the phone to make a cold call and you feel unworthy of that scenario all of a sudden? You are worthy of that scenario. You pick up the phone, you're not bothering anybody. How you doing? I'm Penny. You can't see me right now, but I'm winking because I like you already. I'm looking to see if I can help people out. And that's what you're doing. If you put that in your heart, I'm picking up this phone to try to help people. That's it. Then you know you're worthy of the scenario and you're not taking from them. You're trying to give. They don't necessarily need your help. And that's great. That's a good thing. You offered it and they know where to find you if they need it in the future. We talked about this is for everyday interactions, and we have already talked a couple of times now about the cashiers. I call it the cashier conundrum. Just put me to the test. You don't have to believe me. Give it a shot. You're going to go to a cashier today. At some point today, you're going to interact with a cashier. Don't give them a chance to say, fine, don't do it. I'm begging each of you next week to have a story for me where you didn't give them a fine. Ask them a question that they are not expecting. What was your first bicycle? No, seriously, what was your
you're
first
asking?
bicycle? Yeah.
I don't even know the name.
Swin.
No, it wasn't a Swin. I don't know what it was, but it was green.
It was green.
Yeah.
Do you like green?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. So now, did you enjoy the process of learning the bike?
I love it.
You loved it? Who taught you how to ride a bike?
I did.
How'd that go? Was it scary?
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool. You know, I ran to the tree several times. Yeah.
And now that whole time, she's still boop, boop on your groceries, but look at that smile on your face.
Yeah.
She's getting to talk about herself. No one asked her about her bike today. I promise. I promise. I promise. You've disrupted the OODA loop. You've given her a chance to talk about herself. You validated her as a human being. You've made her feel good. And you know what? If you use her name, you've made a friend.
And she's
Right.
going to remember you always.
Yes, always. Always and forever. There's a little lady, a little person named Ariel. She worked at the food line that I go to. She doesn't even work there anymore. But I bumped into her places you wouldn't expect. I'm 2 cities away, walking to a mall, and she's getting her ear pierced, and she jumped off the bars. I'm like, oh, she's piercing your ear. She jumped off. Dave, how you doing? Just because she remembers me, because I took the time to talk to her. Every one of you is going to have 100 stories like that by this time next week. Okay, and then the following time you go through that same food line again, and you now they're going to want to ask you questions. So what do you do? You teach.
Yeah.
Well, where do I work? I help people out with Medicare supplements. Oh, my grandfather needs that. Now there is a scenario that they've brought up where you have the opportunity to help them, and you didn't cold call anybody. You didn't have to jump into any uneasy situations. You certainly didn't take or bother anybody. This is not a sprint. Whether you're in sales, whether you're trying to reconnect with a family member, whether you're trying to develop a relationship with a new person. I had a guy asking me yesterday, I have a hard time asking girls out. I'm like, oh, we're doing this? Okay. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon. Well, I want to ask them, so let's go over to you. You can't just spring out of a box and be like, oh, take me out. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way in any scenario either. You have to lay a foundation that lets people know that you're somebody that they trust and they feel good about themselves when they're around you. How long does it take?
5 seconds.
5 seconds. At the most.
At the moment.
At the most. The elevator, we talked about that. Anybody know what Garfinkeling is? Okay. I love that word, Garfinkeling. Garfinkeling is the concept that happens when somebody intentionally breaks a social norm. So we all have a social contract. We talked about it. You get on the elevator, you cover your crotch, you look up at the numbers. That is the social contract. Garfinkeling is when you walk on an elevator and the doors close behind you and you just stare at the back of the elevator. Well, that's weird. That's weird.
Everybody starts looking.
But look at this. On an elevator of 8 people, I'll get a couple of whoa, like Angela, whoa. But I'll get a couple of laughs, and now we can have a conversation. Sometimes you're allowed to tell the truth in emergency, I promise. And so I get on the elevator and they're like, what are you doing? It's called Garfinkeling. Let's talk about it. And now I explain what I just did. I've made friends with an entire elevator before. Do I maintain relationships with them? No, I'm in a courthouse. I'm not going to see them again too often, but I do bump into them elsewhere, right? So when you bump into them elsewhere, they remember you. You're the guy. You're the guy. You're the teacher, right? Who winked at me? I'm going to seek you out just to say that, by the way. So if we don't bump into each other by accident, it's going to happen on purpose. Hey! And remember, what we're trying to do on the elevator, just like anywhere else, when you start out, it's awkward. Everybody's awkward on the elevator. You take them from unfamiliar to familiar and you improve their mood. It's still about them. It takes 5 seconds to do. You got about 60 seconds on an elevator. You can do it. You can do it. It's a great place to practice. It's a great place to practice.
There's no consequence.
There's none. There's almost no consequence. There's no risk at all, because if everyone on the elevator hates you, the door's open, you go your separate ways, we're done. What's the worst thing that can happen? 6 months from now, you're the guy. You're the weird guy, right?
They still remember you.
They're still memorable. All right. Now here is a fundamental question. Somebody asked me this. I didn't have this slide, and I thought it was a great question. Is this unethical? Is this manipulative? Are you manipulating the people around you because you're behaving in a certain way in order to make them respond a certain way.
Can I ask you a question right quick?
Yeah.
How does it make you feel?
How does it make me feel when people make me feel good about me when I interact with them?
When you make them feel good and you get the result, and the result is make them feel better about themselves, how does that make you feel?
Why do you think I love waking up in the morning so
That's
much?
exactly right.
Why do you think I love? This is what I do. This is what I do.
That's what is. That's the ethical part. That's an ethical question. If you enjoy and it makes you feel good, it makes them
How is
feel
it
good.
unethical?
Put on it.
So let me pose a question to you, Brian. Do you shower reasonably regularly?
Yeah, reasonably.
Do most of us apply deodorant often enough? Right? Maybe some mouthwash, brush your teeth. I had my eyebrows done just for this. So. How is that any different? You do those things not because your body naturally smells like body spray. It's because you want people to have a positive experience of being around you. You use mouthwash and brush your teeth and clean your body and dress a certain way, whatever, because you want people to have a positive experience about being around you. All we're talking about is behavioral mouthwash. Is it? You're just taking some people's stank ass behaviors and just a little mouthwash. And now they're better. Now people have a better experience of being around you. It is not manipulative.
You never know, and this is what I said, you never know what they need. And a simple hey goes a long way.
I mean, I come back, I know I've made the example of Queen several times now, but there's zero reason for me to speak to Queen. Absolutely no one would have seen me hold the door for her, let her walk past, and go on with my day and been like, oh, that guy's a jerk. Nobody. But because I did, I've literally had the opportunity to change her life. She operates 3 businesses and is absolutely at her wit's end, doesn't know what to do because of the fact that she hasn't had somebody hold her hand and show her through some of the accounting stuff. And now, when you get to a point, don't you get a little bit kind of like, well, too embarrassed to ask now. But what if somebody pops up at a clothing store and just makes you trust them? I don't think he's going to judge me. We're taking care of her. All it is an opportunity to help people. And if nothing else, what if she needed nothing? What if she needed nothing? You made a friend. You made a friend, made somebody feel good about themselves.
Most important thing in the world.
I'm pretty sure the next slide says questions on it. Next week we're going to do, or next month, it's up to Brian. It's up to you guys, really. If you guys feel like this was beneficial to you. The next lesson is going to be overcoming interaction anxiety. So I put that slide that says questions, but you guys know you were free to ask questions throughout the whole thing, I hope. If you don't, you do now, and next week you can ask all the questions you want. Anybody have any questions?
I don't have any questions, but that was great. Yeah.
How old's your little boy?
He's 12.
Oh.
He's 12, and
Oh, yeah, I got something for him.
disrespectful little rat is 6'2" now.
Oh,
Yeah.
So 1 or 2
Good
What?
Lord.
Raven?
kids?
Well, just one. Yeah, just one. But it's 6'2", yeah.
It's,
So he's gonna be taller than you, wow.
Oh, without a doubt. By the time he's 16, by next month.
Right, because that was years.
I'm telling you. Let's see here.
My 8-year-old took care on me, so.
That is too.